Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up the automated newsletter module. If you want to be able to send periodic newsletters to your customers in a way that they will receive it at specific points and at specific times of the day or at specific time of day of the week, you can use the automated newsletter module to do this. So for us to set up the module, the first thing we do is we navigate to the store management section here and select settings. So here we select modules. All right. So in the module page, we go ahead and choose the marketing and conversion category here. So once we do that, we come here and search for automated newsletter. So you can see the module here. So once we have been able to access the module, we go ahead and click on the install button. All right. So now the module has been installed. So what we do next after we've installed the module is we proceed to enable the module, right? So once we enable the module status, here we set the from name field. So this would be the name that we show as the sender of the newsletter. So for this example, we can just put it as support team, right? So for the email, the sender email, we can change this to any other email, but for this example, I'll leave it as it is. So we can also add the BCC option if we want to enable it. If we do that, it's giving us the indication that this option will be added as the additional email address. So, but we will not use it. So we disable this. So for the newsletter recipients, this is where we would specify whether we want to send the automated newsletter to a specific customer group or to all the customers or to only those who subscribe to receive newsletters in the store. So for this example, we leave the default option. So here it allows us to set the number of emails that will be sent per request when we enable the automated newsletter. So for the default value is 5. So we leave it as 5, but we can increase this if we want to do that. So we can also enable confirmation email. So this is the once we enable this option, so it allows us to send a confirmation email to a customer who subscribes to receive newsletter on your store. So once we enable this, you see that it gives us the option to set the confirmation email template. So we can adjust the content that will be sent once the confirmation email is sent to the customer. So this is what the customer will see as the content of the confirmation email. So we leave this option as it is. So after we have set up the general settings, we can now proceed to save. All right, so now we have activated the module. So after we have activated the module, the next thing we have to do is we navigate to the next section called newsletters. So this is where we will now create the newsletter templates. So this is the content of the newsletter that will be sent to the customer when the automated newsletter is processed. So for the newsletter, let's go ahead and create one. We come here, We click on the create new template. So here we put the email. This is the subject of the mail that will be sent to the customer as newsletter. So we can say weekly digest, right? So we leave this as this is a test. It allows us to test the newsletter. We can send a test mail to the email address we specify here. We can also preview this newsletter by clicking the preview button here. So you see this is how it would look. All right. So we can adjust the template. So this is the content that will be sent. We can adjust it and we can add any of these shortcodes into the newsletter template. So once we have set up the newsletter template, note that we also have the option to send it to all the recipients by clicking this button if we want to do that now. But if we don't want to do that now, we can just proceed and save. All right. So after saving, if we come back here, you see that the new newsletter template is now active here. So we can proceed to add more templates by clicking the create new template button, or we can delete existing newsletter templates using the delete button here. So in the next section called product list, this is where we specify the number of products, the currency, and the custom products that will be included in the automated newsletter. So we can adjust any of these settings. For example, this option allows us to specify the number of products that will show per row in the newsletter content. Here we can also set the currency that will be used for the products that will show in the newsletter content as well. We can adjust the product image size. We can also adjust the number of new products that will show there, bestseller products, special discounted products as well here. So in addition to these options, we can manually select the products that will be included in the newsletter. So once we do this and we have adjusted all the settings here, we go ahead and save again. All right. So after we've saved, you see that all the adjustments we made has been saved. So the next section here called send newsletter allows us to track the automated newsletter emails that has been sent to the customer. So anytime we send a newsletter to all the customers, the content will be recorded here and we can track the recipients of the newsletter. So the next section called schedule task. This is a very important section. This is where we will now set the automation for the automated newsletter module. So for example, if we want to enable the schedule task for the newsletter, we come here and select enabled option here. So this will give us the option to choose the type of schedule that we want to create. So we have the option to choose between the fixed dates and periodic schedule. So for this example, let's select the fixed date option, right? So once we do that, what this means is that the newsletter will be sent on a specific date. So when we select this, we now have the option to choose the date. So let's say we want this newsletter to be sent on the 30th. So we come here and select 30th. We can also choose the specific time. So let's say we want to send it 12:30 p.m. All right. So, and then once we have set the date and time, here will now allow us to choose the newsletter template that will be used when this automated newsletter is sent to the customers. So after we have selected the newsletter template here, we go ahead and click on the plus button here. All right. So once we do that, you can see that the scheduled task has been generated here. And then under the cron services, you see that a new link has been created here. So for the scheduled task to work, we need to set up third-party cron services, like setting the cron task on services like easycron.com or setcronjob.com. So for this example, I'm going to show you how to set up the cron task for this scheduled task using the easycron service. So the next thing I'll do, since I've created the scheduled task here and the cron link has been generated here, I'll go ahead and log into the easycron account. So I open the easycron website. All right, so now that the website is open, we go ahead and log into it. So we log in with the account. All right, so this is the easycron dashboard. So what we need to do now for us to create the cron job that will process this scheduled task, we come here and copy this link here. So we now come back to the easycron dashboard and click on the add cron job button here. So in the URL to call, we go ahead and enter the URL that we copied from here. So we put it here. So once we do that, we now set the execution interval. We select it, we say once every day. So once we do this, we have the option to further modify this cron job, but these are the required settings we need. So once we have set the required settings, we go ahead and click on the create cron job button. So now, after we have created it, you can see the new cron job here that we created. So let's go ahead and change the name. So for the name, we can call it automated newsletter. So this is just an example, and then we save. All right. So the cron job will execute the scheduled task on the specified dates, which we said on the 30th of this month. So on this specific day, the newsletter will be sent to the customers, and the content of the newsletter will be the newsletter template that we selected here called Weekly Digest. So we can go ahead and create other tasks. So if we want to create another task, we can come here. Let's say we want to send it once every week. We select periodic here. So we select week here. We select the day we want it to be sent within the week. Let's say Friday. We can set the time. Let's say we set the time as let's say 1 p.m. or let's say 1:30 p.m. All right, and then we now go ahead and select the template. This is a newsletter template. We select it again here, and then after we select it, we now have the option to save again. All right. So note that it has been scheduled, and we are still going to use the same cron link, which we've already set up here because it's just for the same template. So, but if we select another template, let's go ahead and create another template here. All right. Sorry, create another template here. We call this weekly, or we say daily digest, and then we make the necessary adjustments here. We say this is a test automated newsletter. All right. And then once we make the adjustment, we save. All right. So you see that the second newsletter template has been created here. So we go back to the schedule task section here and change this. So you see that once we change it, it gives us the new link that we can add. So we select this and then come back to the EasyCron dashboard, create a new cron job here, add the new link here, set this to once every day, and then under the identifier we say call it weekly, or call it daily digest. All right, and then we go ahead and create it. So this has automatically created the cron job that will execute this this task here. So note that if we have multiple stores, you can make the settings based on store by selecting the appropriate store here, and then once you make the settings, you can now proceed to save to update the settings for the store. All right, so in this video, I've shown you how to set up the automated newsletter module and how to schedule tasks using the third-party cron services like EasyCron. Thank you for watching.